Hey everybody, Cody with Princess Craft RV, and today we just wanted to do a quick video on how to do a winterization on an MDC. Today I'm actually going to be showing you how to do it on the MDC 19 OGE. So let's start around on the other side, go over a couple things over there before we hop inside. All right, so now that we're over here on the off-door side of the trailer, the first thing I like to do is actually drain some things out underneath. There's going to be one valve on the inside we're going to use, but there's also one on the outside, and the reason I say do it first because water's going to be on the ground and I don't want to be crawling where there's already water, so do underneath before we come up here and do the water heater. So shooting up underneath real quick, you'll see this valve right here. This can be used as a low point drain. This also runs to the front water spigot that's by the tongue. So you've got one here, and then there's another drain tube that's going to come out in this area here that the drain valve is on the inside for. I'll show you that once we get inside. To get your water heater ready for winterization, you're going to want to open it up, take that door down, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this dust guard, bug guard, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to install that into the exhaust there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove our drain plug. To do that, we're going to push up on this tab, pull down on the yellow handle. Now, depending on which Truma water heater option you've got, you may have the winterization drain plug that can be used during the winter to help keep things from freezing. But the design is the same, it just won't have the electrical cord. You're just going to push that down, pull this out, and all that water is going to come rushing out of the mixing vessel, which is what we definitely want to empty in this unit because it is plastic and it can crack if that water freezes and expands in there. Once you get all that done, you can leave this out or you can put it back in. You're going to push that back up. Go ahead and close your door. Make sure all of your tanks are drained. So your freshwater tanks and your gray water tank. So your gray water drain is going to be this one right here. Make sure it's drained out completely. Your freshwater drains are going to be the big black plugs that are going to be on the lower points of those two tanks. Take those off, drain it out completely. For your cassette toilet, we're going to open up this door right here. We're going to pour a little bit of antifreeze in there. We don't need a ton. We just want enough in there to where we can pump a little bit of that antifreeze into the actual water dispensing portion of the toilet. Let's hop inside. All right, once you get inside your MDC, you are going to need to identify where the backside of the water heater access is. MDC does a pretty good job of putting an access cabinet or door somewhere. In the 19, it's going to be under the mattress. You're just going to lift that up. It's going to be this little cabinet right here. We're going to pull that off, and down inside we're going to see a handful of blue quarter turn valves. So we'll need to go over what each of those does and what position they should be in for winterization. All right, so with the valves in here, let's start with the one on the bottom right. That is going to be your low point. You're going to open that valve where the top of it is in line with the water line like this one is, which tells you the valve is open. So you want to open that out and drain everything out. You're going to close this valve here, and you're going to close this valve here, and closed looks like that. Open looks like that. Once those two are closed, we're going to open this valve that's in between them. And what that does is bypasses the water heater and allows our antifreeze to bypass here. So we're not putting any antifreeze in here. Truma does not want antifreeze in the unit. You also need to close this very bottom left valve. Because this is a comfort unit, it has a recirculation capability. So you want to make sure all of your inlets and outlets are closed and your T that joins the water lines together open. And that will allow us to pump our antifreeze through without going into the water heater. Dewinterization is just the opposite. You get all the antifreeze out of the system and then you switch all of those around back to their normal use position. So let's jump underneath to the water pump, which in the MDC 19 is going to be in this one way down here. And in here, again, there's a couple of different ways you can do winterization here. You can pour your antifreeze into a fresh water tank and suck it up with the water pump that way. I don't think that's going to be your best bet. My best what I think would be the best option is to loosen this fitting on the back here, take this water line completely off, and then with a 1/2 inch threaded fitting to a piece of tubing, run that over to your gallon of antifreeze and turn the water pump on and suck the antifreeze into the system. Once you get all of that going, you're going to go around to each of your fixtures, to your shower, to both of your sinks, and you're going to run that water until it turns pink. And once you get that done, you're pretty much winterized and ready to store for the winter season. All right, guys, thanks for hanging in there. That's a quick little snippet on how to do a winterization on your MDC. Now, if it's not something you want to get into, give our service department a call. They can get you set up. We're running some good winterization specials. Check us out at princesscraft.com or give us a call.